This week on This Too Shall Pass. Sometimes I struggle with giving a full answer as to who I am because I'm still learning who I am. Adulthood grabbed me by the tits. I didn't know what to expect. I'm a child that never heard my parents argue. I didn't even know what an argument looked like, but yet I ended up in a marriage that someone's fist ended up across my face. It's definitely held me back the last 6 to 7 years to putting myself back out there. So I still have some healing to do. Am I settling? Am I overlooking red flags just because I'm eager to not be codependent anymore? I've taken a break to allow my kids finally to have a happy mom, to finally have a safe home. I told myself I wasn't going to cry. Welcome to the This Too Shall Pass podcast. Trust me, I know life can be. This is an inclusive space for our stories and lessons to be heard and learned from without judgment, because this too shall pass. Hi, my name is Ariel. I am super nervous. I cannot believe I'm out here. But I did something crazy and I trusted my gut and I started a podcast. The podcast name is This Too Shall Pass. If you are listening, wherever you can listen and stream and download, if you can give me a like, a follow, or a comment, I'd appreciate it. And if you're watching this on YouTube, the full clip will be available on YouTube. You can just search This Too Shall Pass podcast, and you can give me a like or a comment there, and we will upload weekly. Again, my name is Ariel. If my voice is cracky, it's meant to be there. I do have me a nice glass of pink Moscato, so hopefully this can calm my nerves while we get to know each other. This is episode 1, day 1, and I'm going to let you guys know who I am. So let's first start off with a YouTube subscriber comment from @TableTalkWithTosh. She left a really sweet comment on I was a podcast host with my good friend Carla on Pivot with Purpose, and this is the comment she left. This was a great interview. Ariel, you will soar. Remain true to yourself and listen to that voice of reason. You are on the right path. You are more than enough. That means a lot to me. I guess that's probably why I'm here. Some people think you get on social media for validation or for someone to clap for you. And sometimes you just don't have someone in your corner. So to have a complete stranger say that I am enough and that my story actually is valid, I really do appreciate that. We are going to also do, in every segment, we're going to do 2 parts. A segment that is This Is Above Me, which I will just let my feelings fly about a person or a situation that I encountered that week. Maybe you can leave me a comment. Let me know if I handled it wrong, if you would handle it a different way. And then we will also do a segment called Her Voice, Her Story, where I will shout out someone that I feel like is influential or is doing a good job in their life. Life is hard and it's not always easy for everyone. So if you can find the little moments to say thank you or, hey, you look good today, or you're doing a great job, I think we should do that as women. And hopefully here on my podcast, we can grow a little closer together. So 2 segments will be This Is Above Me and Her Voice, Her Story. So the first Her Voice, Her Story will be my dear friend, Shania Lee. Shania Lee, I met her. I was in a really dark place. Me and my ex were not completely divorced as of yet. So I was still emotionally drained every day when I showed up to work. Shy was that one person who, I don't know, just said good morning. Sometimes it's nice to even be seen, especially if you work in a big corporate job. You just feel like you're another pencil pusher or typer in the corner and no one really sees you. And she saw me. I don't think she saw the best part of me, but she saw me. Shy herself was also a former single mother. She is married now, and I'm very happy for her. And her husband have a sweet little boy. But Shy's story that touches me is she's gone through a lot of adversity. She's had her own difficulties growing up. She had to struggle as a single mother at first as well. But she doesn't let it dim her light. She doesn't carry her baggage with her when she meets a new person or when she walks into a workplace. Her head is always held high, and she actually pushed her passion into cooking, and now she caters for the community. She has now moved back to Orlando, Florida, where she cooks and caters in the community. She does individual orders. She does pop-up shots. She does personal catering. And she also cooked for her son's local football practice here in East Orlando. And they sold out in like an hour. So I'm very proud of you. I love you. Again, her name is Shania Lee. And her Instagram, where you can find her kitchen and her catering and where they do their business, is at leeway_kitchen11. And Shy, if you hear this, I don't even know if thank you is enough, but I do appreciate the moments that you spoke to me when I don't think I probably was a good person to speak to. Moving on, before I cry, the nerves are ticking down a little bit, though. Ticking down just a little bit. We are going to go into merch. Merch will be coming available soon with the This Too Shall Pass podcast, but you do have to subscribe to the email list. That is where you will find if we offer any discounts, if we have any new drops, colors, sizing, new drops for the podcast, and anything personally related to me, my children, what we're doing, and how we are adjusting through life. And hopefully we can still connect with you through the email, and you can let me know how you're doing. Personal questions, advice, anything will all go through our company email, and I will drop that in the description box below. Whew, I'm out of breath. I guess something I should say is the merch will be, I don't want to say self-explanatory, but I think it'll be more inclusive. Maybe it's the parts of ourselves that we forget. Instead of saying, Mom Life rocks, maybe we will have something making it through the thick of it, trying to hold the pieces together. Something a little bit more vulnerable. I feel like a lot of the times we hide who we really are to fit in. And maybe if we showed who we are in our hard times, then maybe that'll also bring us a little closer together. So that is what the merch will be. It will be self-expression. It will be from the This Too Shall Pass podcast. And I hope you like it and you give it a drop. So this week, episode 1, all we're basically going to do is I'm going to lay myself out to you and give you the opportunity to resonate with me, hear my story, and hopefully give us a little bit of something to connect with each other on. So again, my name is Ariel. Instagram, it is _Ariel B. And for a lot of people don't know that the B is pretty bland. It's kind of there as a placeholder. My marital last name, so before I got married, my last name was Brown. And after I got married, my last name was Barner. They both still start with a B, and I am a single mother of 5. Not all of my children are from my ex-husband. So just leaving it as a B leaves it an open space for all of my kids to feel included. I didn't want to give myself a full or proper last name to know that maybe down the line they would feel left out or someone would feel unheard. So B represents me and my kids as a whole. All of our last names start with B. I just didn't fill in the rest of the letters. Who am I? I don't know. And that's the honest truth. I can tell you what I'm not. I don't think I'm better than any of you guys. I don't think that I'm on the internet to play the victim card. I really just wanted to use my voice in a purposeful way to tell my story because I felt like I didn't have an open window or anyone to relate to when I was first searching on social media. So Ariel is a down-to-earth girl. She is a single mother of 5. I'm a medical biller and coder by day, and I worked really hard at that career. It's kind of boring some days, but it pays my bills. I do raise all 5 kids on one income, so that is tough no matter which way you slice it. I felt like me starting a podcast would give me the opportunity to tell my whole story in a longer format. I feel like Instagram is very short. You get 1 minute and 30 seconds. YouTube is a lot of editing and correcting, and everyone wants to see the big houses with the kids that are all matching, and mine are lucky to all have 2 socks that match every day. And I wanted to connect with you guys a little more on a personal level. Just me, no kids in the background, no one yelling, not worrying about flipping the pots or if I'm burning the rice. Just an honest space to be yourself, even if that's not always showing the best version of you. I'm not perfect. And I'm actually pretty proud of that. I probably talk about my flaws more than I do my perfections because I feel like it makes me relatable. It keeps me down to earth. It keeps me humble. And I didn't do anything special to get followers on Instagram. I talked about coming from a cookie cutter Black Cosby household, and adulthood grabbed me by the tits. I didn't know what to expect. I'm a child that never heard my parents argue. I didn't even know what an argument looked like, but yet I ended up in a marriage that someone's fist ended up across my face. I was the family secret for 25 and a half years until a drunk uncle at a family gathering said, "Oh, Ariel, you're so beautiful." "Thank you. The last time I saw you, your mom was bringing you home from adoption." I thought he was kidding. It's the end of the night. Everyone has had a couple of drinks like I am having now. And he kind of mumbled it the first time he said it, so I didn't take him too serious. But then he grabbed my shoulder and he said it a little louder and he leaned in with eye contact. And I'll never forget, growing up, my grandma used to tell me, a drunk man tells no lies. So it might come out a little mumbled, it might come out a little backwards, but if you take the time to put together what he's saying, maybe it'll make some sense. And the only person who looked confused in the room was me. Everyone else seemed to have already known. The shocked faces just made it seem like someone dropped a glass, so everyone looks. That's how it was. What he said shattered the glass, and everyone looked at me for a reaction, the one that didn't know. So sometimes I struggle with giving a full answer as to who I am because I'm still learning who I am. I feel like life is a process. It is a journey. It changes. And I'm pretty okay with saying I'm not 100% sure who I am. Am I the perfect little girl that grew up in a Cosby neighborhood where everyone's lawns were even edged the same way? Or am I just the family secret that no one thought was capable to tell that she's adopted, even though she was 25 with 4 kids and married? Or am I just another survivor of domestic violence? So I don't know. But I do know I want to use my voice to tell my story and hopefully give you guys the courage to do the same. This is meant to be an open space where everyone can communicate and cultivate together, whether that's in the comments or whether we, call one of you up live. I would really love for this to be a community where you can ask for advice. And I may not always know the answers, but I can always give you a good laugh and maybe what not to do. But if I've been through it, whether that is domestic violence, whether that is filing for divorce and child support or visitation by yourself, what areas in the courtroom to go to get support for domestic violence or women in shelters, help finding daycare assistance, or government loans and grants that you don't have to pay back if you meet the financial requirements to get you and your kids a place to stay. When is the time to go, and when did I overlook mine? Because I definitely overstayed my welcome in that marriage. And I guess I just want everyone to know women take on a lot of shit. And sometimes we're not given the proper spaces to express ourselves without being labeled a bitch or rude or bossy or it's that time of the month. No, maybe you're just wrong. And I think it's okay to raise your voice. I think it is okay to stand your ground. And I think it's okay to talk about the people that hurt you, even though I was taught what happens in your house stays in your house. So here we will build a new house, a new village, a new community, and we're going to give life and a voice to the things that probably changed us, to the things that probably we overlooked and now go sit in a corner with tissues at a therapist. I love therapy, don't get me wrong, but sometimes you have to confront the person. What's the point of going to therapy every week if you're going to sit next to this person at Thanksgiving and not say anything? I think it's important for you to be comfortable exactly who you are, and it shouldn't matter the audience. It shouldn't matter if it is a podcast. It shouldn't matter if it is on YouTube. It shouldn't matter if it's on Instagram or you're the lady on the side of the road holding a sign. Everyone deserves a right to tell their story. And you shouldn't feel shamed or less than because of the audience that is listening. So like I said, I have 5 kids. My first child is Andre. I was pregnant at 16, gave birth at 17. My next child is Haley. I gave birth at 19. My next 3 children are Terrell, Aaron, and Owen. Those 3 children are a product of my marriage, which was my last relationship. I would like to say not, my last forever, but it's definitely held me back the last 6 to 7 years to putting myself back out there. So I still have some healing to do. And it's not that I don't think good men are out there. Maybe it's that I don't think I make smart choices for myself. Because I thought those choices were smart when I stepped into them. They just turned out bad. So are there things up front that I'm missing? Are there weak points in me that, take the small gestures as big gestures when maybe a man should be doing more? Am I settling? Am I overlooking red flags just because I'm eager to not be codependent anymore? So I've taken a break to figure out who I am. I've taken a break to allow my kids finally to have a happy mom, to finally have a safe home. I told myself I wasn't going to cry. Thank you. I should have took you up on your offer. Yeah. So yeah, it's a lot of first. Even though I have 5 kids, everyone's going to think or assume from the outside you have it figured out, and I don't. It's new every day. Every child is a different age, and every child is different. So after I had all of my kids and my marriage ended in the result of domestic violence, I'll start out on episode 1 and tell you I went back. And I think a lot of women go back. And I think, we're either looked down on or she'll never learn or she can do so much better or that's why I don't give her advice because she always runs back. That's not my business. But I think everyone's breaking point is different. And unfortunately, mine took me getting hit one last time that left me unconscious in the front yard of an apartment complex. I carried my last child, Owen, from conception to the end, knowing his father wouldn't be in his life, knowing I would give birth to him by myself, which I did. I had my mom, but I didn't have support from a partner that made the baby with you. My mom will love me whether I am, here or gone, but it would be nice to have support as a whole. It's been hard, don't get me wrong, but he's probably the only child who's the whole time had a happy mom. A mom that wasn't bruised, a mom that wasn't afraid to show up to parent-teacher night or parent-teacher conferences because I don't have enough foundation to cover the bruises, or my ex purposely didn't put gas in the car so we couldn't leave the house. So I'm happy of the choices I've made. I'm proud of the mother and woman I am. So I might not know exactly who I am, but I do know where I want to go. And I know that I'm still growing, and I know that I'm still learning. I just hope that maybe you'll tag along with me and we can grow together. After I had all of my children, that's 5, Andre, Haley, TJ, Aaron, and Owen, I had to step into the legal world. I had to figure out, how to even get divorced. What does that look like for me? And how do you get divorced without an attorney? I can't afford an attorney. We were barely making ends meet. At the time, I wasn't even working. My husband at the time was the only one providing income. So I knew, yes, leaving would make me safe, But how does leaving feed my kids? How does leaving keep the lights on? Or how does leaving help me explain why my marriage only lasted 5 years? Like I said, my family, to this day, no one is divorced. All the kids are from the same two people that are in the household. So it was a lot of shame. It was a lot of baggage. So it was easier to hide than tell the truth because no one's truth around me looked like mine. We are now going to go into the last segment, which is without judgment. This is coming from, sorry, I can't even read it through the tears. I'm going to get this together. I'm not going to cry every time. I don't know if they got teardrops or I guess they have teardrops, but anti-teardrops. Something to make it not that bad. So without judgment. This one's coming from @golden.wavy with 2 Y's on Instagram. How do you do social media stuff? I would love the extra money, but I feel too boring. Boring is your lane. Boring is, and maybe you think it's boring because it's not typical of what everyone else is posting. But boring is exactly what I did. I do not have a fancy house with the clean white cupboards and the self-closed drawers. My kids slam them all the time and I just want to take the hinges off. I don't have a refrigerator that is always clean. It is literally half peanut butter on one side. I didn't even clean it before I left. Nothing in there is organized. The floor is not swept. The laundry is not done. So to me, that looks boring. I'm just another mom being eaten alive by housework. But your boring might give somebody else motivation. I never knew that me saying, I left a domestic violence relationship even though I went back, but I finally got the courage to leave would give someone else the courage to go. So maybe your boring is something that someone else is looking for. What's that saying? Keep it weird, stay true to yourself. And you may only think it's boring because someone else isn't interested in it. But if you're doing it every day, it's not boring. It's serving a purpose to you, whether that's meditation or keeping you calm or you like all your fabric a certain way, or maybe you're just a regular person who lives alone and goes to work. People nowadays live very differently, and people nowadays are nosy. And they just want to watch you and see what you do. Oh, I like how she folded her clothes. Oh, she put her hair tie a different way. It's the little things. I don't think anyone's looking for you to recreate the wheel. I just think people or an audience is looking for you to be you and stay true to yourself. So @golden.wavy with 2 Y's, if you are boring, my encouragement to you is to stay boring. Just stay consistent. If you stay consistent, they will come. But you can't post one and then disappear and think, oh, nobody saw me. It takes a long time. It took me almost 3.5 years to get where I am. And I actually started out with things that I thought were entertaining, and it didn't get me anywhere. It wasn't until I sat down and told my story, or I sat down and told what really bothered me or got under my skin, that people were able to relate to. You're friends with people because you have something in common. You follow people because there's something of interest to you. So even though you think it's boring, I guarantee you it won't be boring to somebody else. Just stay consistent, stay true to yourself, because if you pretend to be someone you're not, you're going to burn out. But it's really easy to be exactly who you are. So I'm going to do It's Above Me. So like I said in the beginning, this is just a segment that I will tell you a situation where I feel like I was lost, or it just didn't make any sense, or I wanted to scream and maybe I didn't because, maybe I was at work, or I had to keep it together for the moment, but I get to be relatable with you guys and tell you how I really feel and be honest. So, summer camp. I'm born in 1991. Summer camp used to be fun. There weren't that many rules. Like, it literally was a bunch of crazy 30 kids in a room. They threw some paper and some markers and let us go outside. We were able to be kids. I feel like it's way too structured sometimes in some settings. I don't think after school, summer break, summer camp, you should have to learn for the first 5 hours after drop off. They already went to school for 9 months. I don't know if we can't just play outside or do a hopscotch. 3 of my kids didn't even know what a hopscotch was. I bought sidewalk chalk on purpose. I would talk to the people at the front and they were just like, oh, we just need everyone to listen and everyone to be able to sit down and everyone to stand in line. I have good patience because I have 5 kids, but I don't know if I have good enough patience to like teach 30 kids all day and then go home to my 5. I think that would be overwhelming. I like going to work with adults and I can talk about things other than Coco Melon or Miss Rachel and then go home and be a mom and put that hat on. But I do think it's very important for people that are interacting with children every day to know that children are still children. I don't care if these children are born in 1904 or 2004. Kids want to go outside. Kids want to get dirty. They are loud. They don't keep their hands to themselves. They do have short patience. Someone's gonna get hit. But to not allow them to be expressive and demand they sit in their seats all day, and then if a child moves too much, ADHD. A child moves too much, go to the office. You laugh too loud. They're not able to be kids. It's a developmental milestone. They grow into adults and then they're adults for the rest of their life, but they're kids for a very small window. And I think for that window, they should be able to be as loud, as wild, color, and go outside. I don't think we should expect all children to be the same. And I don't like that summer camp. I'm going to tell you a story. I remember there was one summer camp and my mother was good for finding somewhere for us to go because you were not going to sit in Patricia Brown's house all summer. You had to go somewhere. This lady put us in computer camp, golf camp, math camp, Girl Scout camp. I was not a Girl Scout and I told them I wasn't. I had no badges. They still took me. I remember we had to cook in the morning in this Girl Scout camp. I purposefully burnt the eggs because I thought they would say, send that little black girl home. I burned all of the eggs that morning, thinking I was crossing my fingers they would call my mom to send me home. They called my mom. She showed up. She pinched me. She told me that I need to get it together. And then she still left me there for the rest of the week. And then I had to learn to be friends with the girls that I burnt their eggs on purpose. But situations like that, nowadays, a kid is expelled or a kid is, asked to not come back, or says they are disrespectful or rude because they ask why. I think it is beautiful and positive and inquisitive to ask questions, to not always be so comfortable just because an adult tells you what to do. The Bible actually says, be more like children if you want to be welcomed into my gates. They're honest, they're kind. No one has to teach a 2-year-old to be mean. They do it by themselves because they want to, and then they're nice by themselves when they want to. But it's honest and it's wholesome and it's not done with hatred or manipulation or vengeance. I just think children deserve the right to be kids. And damn it, if I'm paying weekly for a summer camp, I want my son to go outside more than 2 hours of a 9-hour shift. That is it's above me. And it is really above me because I also sent an email and wrote it to the manager because I thought that was ridiculous. I might ask the parents in the parking lot if they know that their kids are only going outside for 2 hours. We pay weekly. I think kids should just be able to play. Hell, I still want to play. Kind of play it out, but I still want to have fun and laugh and enjoy the little moments. And childhood is a very small window. I hope you got a chance to maybe see who I am. I laughed, I cried, I giggled, I got a little quirky at the end, but it was me. And it is me. And I'll continue to be here weekly wherever you can listen. Again, if you can give us a like, a follow, or a comment, we appreciate it. And we will be back every week. The title of my new podcast is This Too Shall Pass, basically saying not everything lasts forever. The good times, they do go away. And sometimes you might hit a rocky patch, but you push through because when things were good, they were good. So don't lose your faith when things get bad. If anything, you should push through a little longer. Maybe find the good moments even through the terrible ones. My domestic violence was terrible. But me choosing to leave actually brought me closer to my kids. It showed my kids that I chose them. It allowed me to give my sons a more positive Black role model and maybe tell them that it's not okay to put your hands on women or anyone just because you don't like what they said. And it told my daughters that they're worth more and they are enough. even if they're by themselves. So I hope I won't be by myself on this journey, on this podcast. I love you all. Again, my name was Ariel, and I hope to see you again next week. Bye. Make sure you follow the show for weekly episodes wherever podcasts are found so that you don't miss an episode. I'll see you next week.